Police are still looking for the driver who hit a pedestrian last night in Beaumont. And some Southeast Texas bars pushing for a soft reopening. We'll explain what that means.
Live from the KFDM studios, you're watching 6 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for News at Noon. I'm Kelsey Borza. Developing this afternoon, Beaumont police are on the lookout for a driver suspected in an auto pedestrian accident. It happened around 11 last night in the 3800 block of Cleveland between Toledo and Utica in North Beaumont. Investigators tell us the vehicle hit a woman and the driver left the scene. Police don't have a description of the vehicle yet. The woman was taken to Christus Hospital, St. Elizabeth. Police say she appeared to be critically injured. In Jasper today, a former high school football player has been arrested and charged with sexual assault of a child. Police in Silsbee arrested 18-year-old Tareen Collins Sunday. He was booked into the Hardin County Jail. Collins is charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child and unlawful restraint of a child less than 17 years old. So far, no bond has been set. Hardin County Sheriff Mark Davis tells KFDM the charges are based in Sabine County, and the sheriff expects him to be transferred there soon. Collins played football for Jasper High School last year and signed a letter of intent to play college football at Texas A&M Commerce in North Texas. In your afternoon coronavirus update, the Emergency Operations Center is reporting 7 new COVID-19 cases in the region this afternoon. The total number now at 628 in the area. The number of deaths is up 1, increasing the region total to 33 now. Jefferson County is up 4 cases. Hardin and Orange County remain unchanged. And in Jasper County, 3 new cases are being reported. Tyler County is reporting 8 cases and Newton County has 4. Governor Greg Abbott is now directing all Texas nursing home residents and staff be tested for COVID-19. The Texas Health and Human Services Commission, the Texas Division of Emergency Management, and the Texas Department of State Health Services will test 100% of residents and staff in Texas nursing homes. The governor instructed those 3 agencies to develop and implement a plan. Abbott said, quote, "The state of Texas is working to rapidly expand our testing capacity, especially among vulnerable populations in Texas nursing homes." He went on to say this will ensure that any potential clusters of COVID-19 cases in nursing homes are quickly detected and contained. Right now, the Texas Bars and Nightclubs Alliance is pushing for a soft reopening. It's an effort to get those businesses into the state's phase 2 of reopening the economy after being forced to close by the pandemic. The alliance is asking members to conduct a soft reopening this Friday, May 15th, from 6 until 10 p.m. The bars and nightclubs are asked to remove all boards from windows, turn on the lights and music, and let their employees enjoy a DJ or some live music. While some are on board, Cotton Creek's Winery in Beaumont says it's a good idea, but they're opting out due to government orders.
My hope for it is that the government will, the state and the city and local governments will see that we're ready to put into place anything that they ask us to do.
The Texas Bar and Nightclub Alliance says it sent a plan to the governor's task force with a number of recommended measures for a safe opening, as well as a target date. It has not yet received any response. And an update this afternoon on a story we brought you late last week. Tattoo artist Randall Flipper Doolittle and others in his profession talked with state leaders in a teleconference yesterday afternoon. Their goal was to reopen tattoo shops in Texas. State Representative James White says the teleconference with the Department of State Health Services was, quote, very constructive. The next step, they'll take the information to the governor's task force on reopening. White says if it were up to him, the shops would have already reopened. Doolittle has owned his tattoo studio in Bridge City since 2001, and he says the profession is one of the best trained in health and sanitation, and that most shops were already taking COVID precautions before the virus even hit. And let's get a check of the forecast this afternoon. We've been blessed with some beautiful spring weather as opposed to some other parts of the country. Dana, my family up in Pennsylvania has dealt with snow over the weekend and now 30-degree temperatures to wake up to today.
And we're 2 weeks out of June. You know, go figure that. But you're exactly right. The weather here on the Gulf Coast, Kelsey, you really couldn't ask for it much nicer being the time of the year that we're in. Now, we are seeing some changes, and we'll take those. It's an exchange of some clouds that are going to be working their way in, and we've been seeing that for the better part of the day, along with some shower activity too, though. Lufkin seeing some rain. We'll switch over to our Doppler radar, and you can see what we're talking about outside of Lufkin. In fact, we'll move in on that view south to Corrigan, north of Livingston, just north of Livingston, that's seeing some showers. But if you saw on that loop that a lot of that is ejecting toward the north and east as it progresses. We're still going to hold out on keeping rain opportunity in our forecast. In fact, still keeping on those warm temperatures too. 82, our expected high, with a little warmer as we work our way midweek, but our rain chances will increase. We'll talk about that in our full forecast. Kelsey?
All but 4 U.S. states have now eased coronavirus restrictions, even as the U.S. death toll from the virus tops 80,000. 2 of the hardest hit states are getting ready to start to reopen, including New York. Michael George has the latest.
People in Palm Beach County, Florida, packed restaurants for the first time in nearly 2 months.
Being able to sit here with my husband and have a beer, it's awesome.
It's part of Florida's Phase 1 reopening plan. The state is one of several where an updated model from the University of Washington projects COVID-related deaths rising faster than expected. But Florida Governor Ron DeSantis dismissed the models.
We need to go based off facts and based off evidence and not go based off conjecture.
In Los Angeles County, excitement is building as beaches are expected to reopen as early as tomorrow with restrictions.
I personally can't wait for Wednesday. I'm ready to get back to swimming.
Louisiana will lift its stay-at-home order at the end of the week.
We meet the threshold criteria established by the White House based on declining COVID-19-like illnesses.
With COVID-19 cases also declining in New York, 3 regions in the state will also begin reopening Friday, starting with construction and manufacturing businesses. But the governor says New York City hasn't met the guidelines yet to reopen. And the mayor says restrictions on gatherings and non-essential businesses will likely continue until June at the earliest.
That will be the first chance we get to start to do something differently, but only if the indicators show us that.
With most New Yorkers staying home, taxi and livery drivers have seen fares plummet. The city has hired about 15,000 of those drivers to deliver meals to low-income residents. But the drivers make only a small fraction of what they earned before the pandemic. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
White House's coronavirus task force members are testifying before the U.S. Senate today about the government's response to the pandemic. But they're doing so remotely after being exposed to a White House staffer who tested positive. Natalie Brand has those details from Capitol Hill.
Senator Lamar Alexander called the Senate Health Committee hearing to order from his home in Tennessee, with the Trump administration's top doctors testifying remotely.
My concern is that we will start to see little spikes that might turn into outbreaks.
Dr. Anthony Fauci warns senators about the risks of reopening the country too fast and says the government needs to be able to quickly respond to new outbreaks.
With good identification, isolation, and contact tracing, will determine whether you can continue to go forward as you try to reopen America.
Health experts say they are focused on increasing testing capabilities to allow states to safely reopen.
Rapid, extensive, and widely available timely testing is essential for reopening America.
President Trump suggested some are moving too slowly.
There just seems to be no effort on certain blue states to get back into gear, and the people aren't going to stand for it. They want to get back. They're not going to stand for it. They want our country open. I want our country open too.
President Trump is meeting with congressional Republicans this afternoon to discuss how to proceed on another economic rescue package.
We are talking about that. We're negotiating with the Democrats. We'll see what happens.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has said he doesn't see a need to act immediately on another spending bill.
We don't need to wait around to see if people need more help. We know they do.
The House could consider new legislation as early as Friday. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Local restaurant owners are still struggling to make ends meet even while operating at 25% capacity, which is why a local restaurant association is starting a cause to help.
Well, the warm weather will continue. In fact, slightly warmer as we near the weekend, but we'll also add rain chances in. Details are coming up.
And now, Dana Malon's son, the Weather Authority.
Been enjoying some beautiful weather in southeast Texas. I mean, how can you complain starting up in the, well, lower 50s? We'll make that a generality. And then peaking in the upper 70s for a few days, even if it's a few days. I mean, because we're, mid-May and, coming up on the onset of June where we're normally extremely warm. So we're loving the weather. Now we're seeing a little bit of a turn of the coin as the clouds continue to move into southeast Texas. We start off with our live weather network of cameras from Do Good Credit Union. Love this particular opportunity to give you a look-see on how things are going. Hey, breezy. You can certainly see that with some of the shrubbery blowing around, and also the camera shaking a little bit. This is from Altus Lumberton Hospital on Highway 69 in Lumberton. Let's switch down south. Here is our live weather network of cameras. GB Dumpster and Demolition at Sabine Pass. You can see one of the empty ballparks and also the waterways down along the immediate coast. But at the same avenue, you can see how the camera's getting a little bit of a play. We are looking at some wind in certain locations. At our market basket, WeatherNet side in orange at Shangri-La Botanical Gardens, south winds only at 5 miles per hour, so not too terribly high here. 82 though for our current temperature at Shangri-La, which is going to be close to where we're seeing our high temperature. We're thinking right around 83, maybe even 84 in some spots, but we're certainly seeing the change as far as the cloud work building in to the region. West of us, which we've been seeing it for a good part of the day today, certainly earlier this morning, some showers from Austin to San Antonio. Waco, Dallas, also seeing some rain. That has ejected out. The Austin and Hill Country rain is still moving its way through. In fact, we've got some pretty heavy showers and thunderstorms that are rolling well west of us. Now, will that be affecting us? Doesn't look like it at this point. Outside of Lufkin, some light showers that will probably miss our area totally. In fact, when we switch over to Doppler radar, you can see what we're talking about. And that is the rain-free conditions we're seeing now with some light showers north and east of us, or west of us, where Lufkin seeing some light rain outside of Groveton, Corrigan, but all of this moving north as it progresses for the next several hours. But our temperatures will certainly continue to climb. Not much though. We're looking at around 83 for our peak temperature as far as the coast is concerned. Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Stay with us all day today. Tomorrow's when we're going to call for an additional change, and that is in the form of some light rain. It's going to be moving its way in. Temperatures warming for sure. I mean, lower 80s right now. Jasper, Beaumont at 81, Galveston at 80. We're in the upper 70s. Houston, College Station at 78. No doubt clouds and rains helping with temperatures just a little bit there. But our look ahead does show why we're anticipating seeing the rains hold off until tomorrow, and that is still high pressure keeping us nice for the last several days. Well, obviously it's working its way out, but it's also allowing more moisture in place and the instability moving its way in pretty quickly behind that high pressure times it out for Wednesday to start. There's where you can see at least the possibility by mid-morning, maybe closer toward lunchtime, where we could be looking at some pretty good showers moving its way through. We'll call it about a 20% coverage in on our Wednesday, but we'll see that ramped up on our Thursday as we have a little bit more widespread rain. So partly cloudy skies continue to return. We're looking at 82 in the lakes area, south winds 15, and 83 for the Triangle. Let's take a quick check of our extended forecast provided by Philpott Ford. Tomorrow's 20% coverage of showers goes up to 40% for Thursday, along with middle 80s through the weekend. We'll have more on News at Noon after the break. Stay with us.
The Sabine Area Restaurant Association, which typically raises money for culinary scholarships, is now asking for people to give back to local restaurants. They say many of our local mom and pop eateries are on the verge of closing their doors, even though they're still allowed to serve at 25% capacity right now.
We've set up on our website a place where the general public, anybody, businesses and individuals can go and donate any amount of funds they want. If you want to throw $20 towards the cause, you can. It's a crowdfunding campaign. And any restaurateur who has a, independent freestanding restaurant, has a health certificate that is serving the general public can go on there and apply for funding. And what we'll do is at the end of this period, at the end of this month, we'll take all of the money that we've raised, and we've thrown in $5,000 on it. We'll split it up amongst the people who have applied, who are who we see are eligible to get it, and we'll split it up. And then if it needs to go for another month, we'll do it for another month. Some of them are really struggling to figure out how to make it 100% again. I don't think people realize how difficult that is. Just saying, okay, well, we can operate at 25% is really just unreasonable. I mean, you have to turn a restaurant over 3 or 4 times a day at 100% capacity just to make ends meet, and make money. So this refresh will be just kind of help people recover.
I know you have very personal relationships with a lot of our local business owners, local restaurant owners. How much are they struggling, and how many restaurants have you personally seen have to shut down?
I've seen personally 3 restaurants that I know that are probably not going to reopen. After this, they're kind of shutting the doors and, leaving everything there. And I'm seeing a lot more that it's just, how are they going to get back to restocking their restaurants and rehiring all their people and doing all those things that they need to do to even serve the public at 100% capacity again, without taking out a loan, and that's the other thing. This isn't a loan. We're talking about just gathering up some money, and people who need it, give it to them. No strings attached. This is what the Restaurant Association is going to do to help you get back on your feet.
Aside from pitching into this crowdfunding campaign through Sarah, another way that everybody in our community can help out is by going to eat, going to order takeout if you're not comfortable sitting in a restaurant yet. But just remember our locally owned businesses right now.
I'll tell you what, I mean, if you're scared, these guys they're taking measures to a whole other extreme that they've never done on a health standpoint before. And I would say that these restaurants right now are cleaner than most places in the public domain that you can go. So, when you go to the grocery store, on every aisle with sanitizer between every customer that goes through there and visits? No, but the restaurants are doing that. And they're wearing masks and gloves. It's amazing, all of the things that they've employed to adapt to the situation. And I think you should feel safe going out to eat, as I do.
And here's the information for you. The website to donate and to apply for funds is the same site, and it is Sarah's website. If we can pull it up at the end. I don't know. Well, we'll link it to our website for you, kfdm.com. If you're trying to look for the link to help out our local restaurants, just visit our website. You can quickly find a link and easily so that you can help out. Well, weeks of shutdowns across the nation caused a massive jump in online sales, but what does that mean for brick and mortar stores that were already struggling? Stores in many states are reopening, including Texas, but weeks of shutdowns saw a big jump in people shopping online. It could be a trend that continues. Nichelle Medina looks at the numbers.
Steven Singer Jewelers in Philadelphia is closed because of the coronavirus, but sales continue.
The online orders have skyrocketed. Doesn't compensate for all the in-store orders that we've missed, but it's nice to see that we're able to help people.
Online shopping is growing with millions of stores shut down.
April represented a 49% increase in e-commerce sales over March.
John Copeland from Adobe Analytics says sales for electronics jumped and leisure clothing got a boost.
In apparel, we're seeing really a shift to comfort. So pajamas, as a matter of fact, increased over 143% month over month.
It's not surprising web traffic increased for stores that had to close, but even industries that kept their doors open during the pandemic saw more customers move online. E-commerce purchases for alcohol increased 74%, and more people shopped online for groceries, up 110%.
I think for a while, it is going to be the new normal, even as people begin to leave their homes and go back and start shopping.
That's bad news for struggling brick and mortar stores. Several recently announced plans to file for bankruptcy.
What we are seeing is people getting increasingly comfortable making their purchasing decisions and deliveries online.
It's one shopping trend expected to have a lasting impact on a growing number of businesses. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, San Diego.
I know I've been doing a lot more online shopping, but my issue now is I've gotten some things that I need to go to the store to exchange. So I've got to wait for those stores to reopen so I can finish the process. Dana, how about you? Has your online shopping increased?
Oh, you know it. Yeah, online, and we're the same way. You know, you do the online purchasing, but sometimes you have to tweak the order a little bit, and that makes you go into the brick and mortar. But we're not complaining, because now we're starting to slowly see the opportunity to help our local businesses out. Forecast wise, hey, partly cloudy skies that continue today. We looked at it all morning long, where we saw the warmer temperatures as we progress for the next several days. You can obviously see we also are amping up, or inching up, if you will, our rain coverage. Tomorrow, we're going to include a 20% coverage. Today, we're looking at some outer lying showers that are moving around the area, but tomorrow, 20% coverage that moves into our immediate area. And we still see warmer temperatures too. Mid-80s start building their way in Wednesday, Thursday, and actually exist through the weekend. By the weekend, though, we're going to be looking at our rain coverage back up to 40%. Kelsey?
That does it for us today for News at Noon. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your Tuesday.